Hello and welcome to CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English and this is World 360 and I'm Sandeep. At least 98 people lost their lives when the roof of the jet-set nightclub in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic collapsed during a packed concert. Among the deceased were beloved merengue singer Robbie Perez, provincial governor officials and former Major League Baseball players Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco. The venue had approximately 300 people inside and over 150 were injured. Emergency crews are still conducting rescue efforts while authorities investigating the cause of the collapse. The tragedy has stunned the nation, with the popular nightclub now at the center of the national mourning. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukrainian forces has encountered 6 Chinese soldiers during the recent combat in the Donetsk region, specifically near Tarasivka and Bilohorivka. He confirmed that the 2 of them were captured by Ukrainian troops, while the whereabouts of the remaining 4 remain unknown. Zelensky emphasized the significance of this development and hinted that it could influence the United States' stance on the conflict. According to him, documents and bank cards were recovered from the captured individuals, suggesting their involvement in the Russian military. Ukrainian authorities are now investigating the presence of additional Chinese nationals.
Ми взяли в полон китайських військових на території України. В бой вступили українці на Донеччині, Тарасівка і Білогорівка. 6 китайськими військовими, 2 в полоні. Але, мені здається, нам є що говорити з американцями і будемо вірити, що вони змінять свою позицію, особливо після сьогоднішньої новини. Відповідно, є документи, є їх паспорти, є навіть кредитні картки. Це громадяни Китаю. Я думаю, що це важливий дуже елемент. Я думаю, Сполученим Штатам Америки треба більше приділити увагу тому, що відбувається сьогодні. І ми очікуємо після того, що це ще одна країна, яка військово підтримує вторгнення Росії в Україну на боці Росії. Це ще одна після Ірану і військових Північної Кореї. Але є різниці. Північнокорейці на Курському напрямку воювали проти нас. Китайці воюють на території України. І я думаю, що це важливий момент, який нам треба обговорювати з партнерами. Думаю, терміново. Я розумію, що ми сильна країна, але ми не можемо воювати одночасно з багатьма країнами, яким всім щось потрібно на нашій землі. Дуже розраховуємо, що після цієї ситуації американці будуть говорити більше з українцями, а потім з русскими. Ну і дуже надіємо, що китайська сторона також відреагує. В принципі, я доручив міністру закордонних справ зв'язатись і міністру оборони зв'язатись з китайськими контрпартнерами, щоб вони дали нам пояснення.
Королівства Бельгія, Бар де Вебер.
Ми взяли в полон китайських військових на території України. В бой вступили українці на Донеччині, Тарасівка і Білогород.
During an April 8, 2025 dinner hosted by National Republican Congressional Committee (NRCC), US President Donald Trump highlighted his administration's tariff policies midway through his remarks. He invited 3 former hostages on stage to their experiences. One of them, Qaid Sagal, publicly thanked Trump for securing their freedom. Sagal credited Trump with saving his life and lives of 33 others, emphasizing the impact of the former US President's intervention.
Keith's grandchildren are the happiest. Keith's children are the happiest. Keith's family is the happiest. But I am the most happiest. Thank you so much. We need you. We need you to bring all the hostages home. There's 24 that are alive and 59 to come home to their families. Just like I received Keith, they needed to. We have Yair standing here with us, and Eitan, his brother, is underneath the ground now, begging to get out. So I'm begging you all to help us. We need your help. Thank you.
So, my name is Yair. I've been in hell for 498 days. I've been held in hell with Hamas terrorists. When we didn't see the light, but we feel when we heard President Trump get elected, we knew there is now someone who makes the things happen. I'm sorry about my English. I am half Argentinian, half Israeli. I'm sorry. We need someone who do the things. That's President Trump. We are here because of President Trump. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. It's really surreal to be here. You know, I'm a simple man. I'm running the bar in the kibbutz in Niroz, where I was live, and now I'm here with President Trump, who's.
At the National Republican Congressional Committee event, President Donald Trump intensified his economic offensive against China, accusing it of manipulating its currency to offset a 104% US tariff. He also announced forthcoming tariffs on pharmaceuticals. Trump issued a strong warning to Taiwan's TSMC, threatening a 100% tax if the company fails to manufacture in the US, while criticizing the Biden administration's $6.6 billion grant to TSMC's Phoenix unit.
Next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart.
tariffs. We're making $2 billion. This isn't 35 million, that's peanuts. $2 billion a day. And then they say, gee, they don't know. This is only the enemy can be talking this way. In addition, we have a lot of countries coming to see us that want to make a deal. And we're doing things that nobody's ever even thought about. You have a president and they never seem to win. I don't understand. Right now, China's paying a 104% tariff. Think of it, 104%. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but they charged us for many items 100%, 125%. Many countries have. They've ripped us off left and right. And it's great. It's going to be legendary. You watch. Legendary in a positive way, I have to say. Well, today it was announced that China is reducing its currency. Did you see that? Big. In other words, they're going to make up for it. They got every trick in the book. I'll tell you, they are great. You got to hand it to them. They're manipulating their currency today as an offset against the tariffs. Not supposed to do that. The game isn't supposed to be played that way. It makes it very hard for us. But in the end, it's not good because they have to buy oil. See, we don't need oil. We don't need oil and gas. We have more than any other country. They have to buy it. That's where it hurts them when they do that. It costs them twice as much. When you have one, and now all of a sudden you have seven, it sounds like it's like a landslide. We have to do. We're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals, and once we do that, they're going to come rushing back into our country because we're the big market. The advantage we have over everybody is that we're the big market. So we're going to be announcing very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals. What a job you did, man. Huh? Until they make a deal with us, that's what it's going to be. I think they'll make a deal at some point. China will. They want to make a deal. They really do. They want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get it started because they're proud people. Thank you. And, both elections, they were saying it's going to be TSMC. I gave them no money. Great company. Most powerful in the world. Biggest chip company in the world. They're spending $200 billion in Arizona building one of the biggest plants in the world. And that's without money. All I did is say, if you don't build your plant here, you're going to pay a big tax, 25, maybe 50, maybe 75, maybe 100%. How many Chevrolets do we have in Berlin? Why, none, Donald, none. For the first time in history, all 50 states shifted toward the Republican Party. First time in history, it's never happened. It's a shift. It shifted Republican. And today there are more registered Republicans than any time in the history of our country. How good? How about that? Meanwhile, approval ratings for the Democrat Party have plunged to the lowest level ever recorded. They're at 26%. So you tell me about the midterms, right? 26, the lowest level ever for either party. That people wouldn't have given us 2 years ago, wouldn't have even thought of it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Our opponents are not afraid that our America First policies will fail. They're terrified that our strategy will succeed and we're going to get bigger and stronger and better as a party, and that's what's happening, and that is what's happening. It's going to be something, and I'm actually looking forward to the midterms. I really.
NATO Secretary General designate Mark Rutte stated that the outcome of the ongoing war in Ukraine could have significant implications beyond Europe, particularly in Asia. Speaking on the global ripple effect of the conflict, Rutte emphasized the need for unity among the democratic nations to uphold international norms and deter aggression worldwide.
For this university and for the fact that you host me here again. It is really an honor. The world is watching the war and its outcome very closely. China is certainly watching. If we allow Putin to use force to achieve his aims, it will not go unnoticed. It's Ukraine today, it could be East Asia tomorrow.
Jimbo, and good morning everyone. I'm Yu Cho Soya, Professor of International Politics at Keio University.
President Trump clearly stated that he wants to continue with that policy, maybe even speed it up, to pivot more towards Asia. That's totally logical. And also that they want the European and Canadian NATO allies to take more of a burden, share the burden in a more equal, in a fairer way. It's only logical that where the US is spending 3.5% of GDP on defense, that they want for Europe to equalize with what the US is spending.
That's why I think that the many
NATO as a whole, if we would stick with the original 2% goal, we cannot defend ourselves going forward in 3 to 5 years against the Russians. It is that simple. This university and for the fact that you host me here again, it is a real honor. The world is watching the war and its outcome very closely. China is certainly watching. If we allow Putin to use force to achieve his aims, it will not go.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reflected on India's cultural legacy during his meeting with Dubai Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. He invoked the valor of Maharana Pratap and his course Chetak and highlighted India's traditions of compassion, like feeding birds. Earlier today, the Crown Prince visited Mumbai's iconic Bombay Stock Exchange, marking a key moment in boosting UAE-India economic ties and symbolizing growing cooperation between the two nations.
महाराणा प्रताप के जीवन के साथ जुड़ा हुआ ये घोड़ा है और महाराणा प्रताप हर लड़ाई में किसी चेतन घोड़े से महाराणा प्रताप तो मैं बहुत ही संकट की स्थिति में तो इस घोड़े ने अपनी ताकत और चतुराई दिखा महाराणा प्रताप को युद्ध भूमि से सफलतापूर्वक बाहर निकालते को ये कौन है? ये हमारे दादा जब भारत आए थे उस वक्त का है और 1974 का है। मैं समझता हूँ ये मेरे लिए बहुत मूल्यवान तोहफा है। मैं मेरे देश के लिए इसको बहुत बड़ी सौगात के रूप में इसको सम्मान से इसलिए प्रमुखवा जो आपका सम्मान है इससे तो बहुत होता है। ये हमारे यहाँ देश की ट्रेडिशन हर मोहल्ले में हर घरों के बाहर रखते हैं, उसमें दाने डालते हैं ताकि कोई भी पंछी आए तो यहाँ पर आ सकते हैं। तो शाम को तो पूरा भर जाता है।
A shooting at a townhouse complex in Spotsylvania County, northeastern Virginia, left 3 people dead and 3 others wounded on Tuesday evening. The incident occurred around 5:30 p.m. local time, prompting a swift response from local authorities. Major Elizabeth Scott of Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office confirmed that 1 or more suspects remain at large. Residents were urged to avoid the area and stay indoors as investigations continue. The scene lies just outside Fredericksburg, roughly 65 miles southwest of Washington, D.C.
At this point, we received a call, multiple calls at 5:30 p.m. from the area of Old Greenwich Circle, which is in Spotsylvania County, in reference to multiple shots that were fired. Upon deputies' arrival, they found multiple gunshot victims. 3 of the victims were confirmed deceased on scene. 3 other victims were transported to local hospitals. It is still a very fluid scene. Multiple investigators are still there trying to determine who the suspects were and what the motive is. At this point in time, I don't know that we have any suspects in custody. So we're asking the public to please stay clear of the area, let the investigators do their job, and stay inside their homes. At this point, because we do not have anybody in custody, it is still considered an active shooter situation.
President Donald Trump signed the multiple executive orders to boost the U.S. coal industry, citing rising national power demand. The measures aim to expand domestic coal output, roll back regulations on coal plants, and reinforce U.S. energy independence. Trump reaffirmed coal's role as vital to America's energy future.
Now, under the executive order that I will sign in a few moments, we're slashing unnecessary regulations that targeted the beautiful clean coal. We will rapidly expedite leases for coal mining on federal lands, and these 2 gentlemen are going to do a real job of it. You've already started. And we'll streamline permitting. We will end the government bias against coal, and we're going to unlock the sweeping authorities of Defense Production Act, the Defense Production Act, to turbocharge coal mining in America. I won't tell you because it's also very good, but it's not as powerful as this. We're going to guarantee that we have a strong business for many years to come, that your coal companies and your miners don't get all excited about their jobs, and then should a radical left liberal become president, they end the business right away, and somebody's built a plant and spent hundreds of millions of dollars in building a plant, and the plant is going to be closed because a Democrat got in or a liberal got in. They're opposed to coal, and Republicans are very much for it. Clean coal. And we're going to give a guarantee that the business will not be terminated by the ups and downs of the world of politics. I think so. I don't think you'd be standing up here either. The value of Under this order, I'm also directing Secretary Wright to use billions of dollars in federal funding to invest in the next generation of coal technology, which is an amazing technology in terms of getting the full potential of coal and also doing it in a very clean, environmental way. Okay. In addition, I'm instructing the Department of Justice to identify and fight every single unconstitutional state or local regulation that's putting our coal miners out of business. $100 million, another $100 million. So we're taking in almost $2 billion a day in tariffs. $2 billion a day. And we're doing very well. And we're doing very well in making, I call them tailored deals, not off the rack. These are tailored, highly tailored deals. Right now, Japan is flying here to make a deal. South Korea is flying here to make a deal, and others are flying here. That's great. Thank you.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu voiced a strong alignment with US President Donald Trump, stating their shared stance that Iran will not have nuclear weapons. His comments came ahead of the cautious US-Iran nuclear talks set for the weekend. Netanyahu and Trump also discussed efforts to eliminate Hamas, secure the release of hostages, and Trump's proposed vision for Gaza. Netanyahu mentioned ongoing talks with countries about accepting large number of Gazans. He further expressed concerns over Turkish military bases in Syria and affirmed Israel's willingness to reduce its trade deficit with the US.
מהקרבה הגדולה והידידות הגדולה בינינו, והיא באה לידי ביטוי בנושאים שדיברנו. קודם כל איראן. אנחנו מסכימים שלאיראן לא יהיה נשק גרעיני. זה יכול לעשות בהסכם, אבל רק אם ההסכם הזה הוא הסכם נוסח לוב, שנכנסים, מפוצצים את המתקנים, מפרקים את כל המכשורים, בפיקוח אמריקני, בביצוע אמריקני, זה טוב. אפשרות שנייה, שזה לא יהיה, שהם סתם יגררו את השיחות, ואז האופציה היא צבאית. כולם מבינים את זה, על כך דנו באריכות. נושא שני שדיברנו עליו, זה עזה. אנחנו נחושים לחסל את החמאס, ובאותה עת אנחנו נחושים להחזיר את כל חטופינו. והנשיא הסתכל עליי ואמר לכתבים שם, האיש הזה עובד כל הזמן כדי לשחרר את החטופים. אני מקווה שבזה הוא ניפץ את השקר שמופץ חדשות לבקרים, שאני לא עובד למענם, שלא אכפת לי. אכפת לי, ואני עושה את זה, ואנחנו גם נצליח בזה. וגם דיברנו על החזון של הנשיא טראמפ, כי אנחנו כרגע במגע עם מדינות שמדברות על האפשרות לקלוט הרבה מאוד עזתים. זה חשוב מהקרבה הגדולה והידידות הגדולה בינינו, והיא באה לידי ביטוי בנושאים שדיברנו. קודם כל איראן. אנחנו מסכימים שלאיראן לא יהיה נשק גרעיני. זה יכול לעשות בהסכם, אבל רק אם ההסכם הזה הוא הסכם נוסח לוב, שנכנסים, מפוצצים את המתקנים, מפרקים את כל המכשורים, בפיקוח אמריקני, בביצוע אמריקני, זה טוב. אפשרות שנייה, שזה לא יהיה, שהם סתם יגררו את השיחות, ואז האופציה היא צבאית. כולם מבינים את זה, על כך דנו באריכות. נושא שני שדיברנו עליו, זה עזה. אנחנו נחושים לחסל את החמאס, ואותה עת אנחנו נחושים להחזיר את כל חטופינו. והנשיא הסתכל עליי ואמר לכתבים שם, האיש הזה עובד כל הזמן כדי לשחרר את החטופים. אני מקווה שבזה הוא ניפץ את השקר שמופץ חדשות לבקרים, שאני לא עובד למענם, שלא אכפת לי. אכפת לי, ואני עושה את זה, ואנחנו גם נצליח בזה. וגם דיברנו על החזון.
And that's the end of the World Bulletin. Keep watching CVR News English.